Okay, everybody, welcome. We have some new faces. I want to call the meeting to order, 6 o'clock. And just before we take a roll call, I just would like to welcome our 4 newest members, Paul, Craig, Ben, and Xerxes. We are thrilled to have all of you join us, so welcome. Would you like to do roll call, please?
Yes. Chair Sue Lester,
I'm here.
Xerxes Kalilo.
Here.
Rosemary Chora. Ben Glassman,
Here.
Craig Holmes.
Here.
Dicky Fernandez.
Here.
Dean Fisher.
Here.
And Paul Lancaster.
Here.
Thank you.
And Cindy Brenneman was excused.
Yes.
Perfect. Like to open the floor to public comments. We don't have anybody from the public here, but do we have anybody in the wonderful world of computer land? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and close public comments and get to the first item on the agenda, which is appointing a new chair and a new vice chair.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. This is the opportunity where members of the committee will make a motion who they want to appoint chair, and also make a motion who you want to appoint to vice chair, and both those positions will be serving for 2 years.
Okay, let's start with chair. Does anybody have a nomination for chairman? Chairperson, chairwoman?
Well, currently I'm looking right at you.
So this is for the citizens involved?
Yeah, it's for our committee. Yeah, it's for our committee.
Specifically. Yeah. what are we
Running the
setting up
meeting.
for here before we, no.
Okay, so the Cliff Notes version is you run all the meetings. You meet with, Scott, you could probably do it better than
Yeah,
me.
thank you, Madam Chair. So the chairperson, once the chair is appointed, the next thing is that the chairperson will meet with me, and we will develop a work plan for the committee for the next year, and we'll present that to you next month. Here are some of the items that we'll be discussing in the next 12 months. So we'll work with that together. And then during the meetings, the chair is pretty much the person that just runs the meetings, and will discuss items on the agendas, ask for discussions. The chair would also sometimes meet with board president just to see how things are going. So basically, the chair is kind of like the leader of the committees, is basically what it is. And if there's any items you want to put on the agenda, you can run it by the chair or myself, and we can discuss what items we put on the chair. But really, it's kind of like your leader of the committee.
But the vice chair just.
Vice chair would serve in the chair's absence. So when the vice chair is not, or when the chair is not here, then the vice chair would assume that role.
So for me, starting with the chair, I nominate you, Sue, because I think you're the most experienced and seasoned. And having worked with you previously, you've run some very efficient and effective meetings. So I nominate you.
Well, thank you for your confidence in me. Does anybody second
Second.
nomination? Okay, do we have any? Are there any alternative motions or somebody who wants to be the chair? Or, okay, no? Okay, let's vote that I stay the chair. All those in favor? Aye, against? Just kidding. Okay, I guess I'm the chair again. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Moving right along. For the vice chair, who is currently my friend here that goes to more meetings than anybody I know, and he will be here shortly, Michael, would anybody like to make a nomination for vice chair? I would like to nominate Michael, although I don't know if he still wants to be the vice chair. He's not really here to say no.
Yeah, I think we'd want him here to accept it or not. So, but-
Yeah,
Thought about it.
Although you could nominate and get him elected, and if he wants to decline, he can then resign.
Do it that way.
okay, let's do that. So I think that's great. I nominate Michael to continue as the chair. Do you have a second? Second, okay, all those in favor? Aye. Against? Showing no hands, okay. Item 1, there you have it.
Thank you.
Moving right along. Item 2 is to approve the Citizen Advisory Committee minutes from March 13th. And obviously, we have 4 members here that weren't here and haven't read them and can't really vote on them.
We read 'em.
Or, okay, but can they like
I'm
vote to
there.
approve?
Typically, when committee members aren't at a meeting, they typically would abstain because they're not there. So that's usually what happens.
So do we have enough people to vote on it?
So it does not. So what we could do is we can bring this item back on the next meeting for approval.
Or when Michael gets here? Okay.
Will be different then.
One more.
It's nothing. It's just that we
Like
need a
something-
quorum, you need a quorum to
But
pass.
we can't vote yet.
Right, well, you just can't vote on the minutes from this meeting, the meeting that took place in March. Yeah, because you weren't here, but you can vote on everything else. Okay, next item is the alkaline battery recycling program final report.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to turn this over to my staff, Angela Kalunga. She's the coordinator of this program. It's been a very successful program. It's a program that we try to encourage students to recycle batteries. You know, we don't want to throw batteries into the trash carts because they can cause fires in your in the trash cart. So we want them to be recycled properly. And so to encourage the students to recycle, we incentivize them through monetary compensations. And you can see in your staff report what schools were awarded. But before I go into too much further, I'm gonna turn it over to Angela. She can tell you more about the program and what schools did well. So. Angela.
Good evening, CAC members. So in an effort to educate local students about the importance of protecting the environment, the district sponsors an alkaline battery recycling contest. At the beginning of each school year, the schools within our service area are invited to participate in the contest for a chance to raise money. And by collecting and recycling these batteries, students are helping prevent waste, fire hazards, groundwater contamination, all by keeping the batteries out of our local landfills. So for this school year, we had 17 schools participate in the contest, which ran from September to March. Overall, the schools collected 11,972 batteries, 72 pounds of batteries. And the first place winner was Paularino Elementary, which collected 2,471 batteries. And this is their very first time placing first. So we presented them with a check and took a picture of the principal and some PTA members. And we will be cutting the checks next week. Any questions?
I do have a question. I know the battery, we've been doing the battery program since what, 2013, 2012? something
Yeah,
like that?
right. Mhm.
And I know it started with like 5 schools and now you're up to like 17 or 18, which is awesome.
Yeah.
How many schools do we actually have in the district and how many are still not participating?
I'm not sure how much we have in total in our service area within. Well, so we only invite schools within the district's service area. So they could be NMUSD schools or they could be private schools. We send out an email to about 20, 25 schools. They get back to us in August of who wants to participate.
Okay, so you guys don't necessarily have every school in the district if they're not your customer.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah. So this year we had 17 schools, just like last year.
Oh, okay, great. That was the only question I have. Xerxes, go ahead.
What kind of educational programs are, gets rolled out? Is it just like a week of, say, hey, it's, battery recycling week or month? Is this something that's ongoing throughout the school year, or is it just like a season?
So it runs from September through March. So we email all the schools to participate, and then we send out a flyer through Peach Jar, which we can select which schools to send out our information to. We put it on social media, and then the students have from September to March to collect, and then we tally up the total.
Just a follow-up question. Does the sanitation district, are they allowed to have some kind of like a yard sign that kind of just, like, kids are amazing ambassadors of anything.
Yes.
And the battery recycling program and also next it will be the 3-cart system. But I think children will be very, very happy to participate in. And so I'm going to try to segue your program in terms of getting into the elementary school kids to be recycling minded
Mhm.
and kind of segue that into the 3-card system, which is probably the next one, and to be kind of similar, but some kind of an educational program or some kind of a yard sign just to kind of remind them. And so my question to you is there on your recycling program, advertising type of signs that's planted in the school district so that they can be kind of reminded and that the parents can also, when they kind of drive by? Because I live off of Newport Boulevard,
Mhm.
and I see a lot of yard sign that says, hey, Costa Mesa, love Costa Mesa, this and that.
Yeah,
And
That's a great
so,
suggestion. We don't have any yard signs at the moment. We just do more online promotion, and the school will post it on their
Yeah,
Facebook
so
or through their PTA.
again, as follow-up, I love digital media,
Mhm.
but nothing can replace like tactile and visual
Yeah.
when you're in real life IRL.
Yeah, no, that's a great suggestion.
So my suggestion is maybe consider some type of visual at the elementary school
Yeah, more
that's
signage.
reaching out to the students and as well as the parents that's dropping them off.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
a great idea. The only hiccup would be is it would have to be approved by the school district.
I-
And I don't know how difficult or easy that is, but I mean, especially for a program like that wins this paint, it's a brilliant idea. So thank you for sharing. Does anybody else have any other questions, Rosemary?
I wanted to also sort of piggyback on that. Batteries are really important to keep out of landfill, but there's other types of e-waste, and I think a lot of devices are now becoming like rechargeable. So I don't know if that means we're seeing less alkaline batteries, but maybe to attach some sort of education to this battery collection competition on e-waste or universal waste, because it kind of all marries up together. So it's like, hey, you're earning money to collect these batteries, but also your old cell phones or extra, I don't know what, anything with the cord or what
Yeah,
goes here also. I think it might be a good collaboration between ideas.
right. Yeah, we could tie it into the household hazardous waste pickup program as well.
Any other questions, comments?
Like if if we are able to like help.
Help get the school
Yeah,
district's
like
approval.
follow up on requests or something. I mean, like, I don't know, is that something?
Yeah,
Is that not?
usually what happens is, something will go to the district. It would be from the sanitary district. It would come directly from Scott's office, or it would come from the sanitary district. And then, the time that we could get involved would be when it went to to a district meeting and they were gonna vote on it. That would be a great time where we could attend the meeting and say, hey, tell them who we are. We live in Costa Mesa. We're on, the committee, and we're here not only as committee members, but we're here as residents to support you in doing this for whatever reason. That's an excellent time to get people to go and support it. Yeah. That would be wonderful. Any other questions or comments on this item?
Do you have goals for the next one?
Just to maintain our level of participation, maintain our level of batteries that we collect. And I like the idea of some actual signage out in the community. About it.
Yeah, because it dropped off right before the pandemic, but it's trending back up again.
It is.
With the weight as well. I think it was almost 12,000 pounds, I think, which
Almost.
is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and our schools get kind of competitive. So it's nice to have a new school win first place.
Yeah, and it's something for you guys to keep in mind too, if you go through a lot of batteries for some reason and you don't have little kids to send them to school with, I drive by the school and go in the office and give them a bucket of batteries every month or so, and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much, Angela. Okay, the fourth item, we're going to talk about the three-cart curbside collection program rollout and get the plan presented by CRNR.
Yeah, before I introduce Julie to the committee, I just go back on the alkaline battery recycling program. And again, this is a great example why we really appreciate the committee when you come up with great recommendations like that. I don't know if you know, but every 3 months, district board and executive staff, we meet with elected officials from the city of Costa Mesa, Mesa Water District, and the school district, and along with their executives, we meet every 3 months and we talk about the issues. I'm going to be discussing this item, the alkaline battery recycling program, and I'm going to make that recommendation to the school district. The superintendent's going to be there and board members. So it's a great opportunity to bring that up. Hey, what's the process of getting signs approved? So thank you very much for your comments. Greatly appreciate it.
When is the next liaison meeting?
It's this month. It's April 17th, or May 17th. I'm sorry, May 17th. And where's it at, Gina? Is it at the city or school district? Yeah, we'll post it on our agenda where it's
Friday.
at. It's at 8 o'clock in the morning. And that is open to the public, by the way. So, okay, so thank you, Madam Chair. So item number 4 is regarding our 3-cart curbside collection program. As you know, there are going to be some major drastic changes in how we throw away our trash. As you know, right now, you have a mixed waste cart where you throw your trash and your recyclables in one cart, and you have your green cart where your organics and food waste goes in the other cart. Because of SB 1383, it's going to require us to source separating our recyclables. So starting October 7th, the board gave us direction. Last time they met, they said they want to start this program on October 7th. You're going to start seeing CRNR rolling out the blue carts to over 21,000 homes. And so before the program's rolled out, we've had several meetings with CRNR and talked about logistics, how does this work. And I have to admit, when they shared their plan with us, I was so impressed with the plan. I said, you got to share this with the board and with the Citizens Advisory Committee. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to is Julie Barada. She is CRNR's Regional Vice President, and she's going to explain to you the rollout of the blue card system. So Julie, it's yours.
Thank you, Scott. And I'm over there chomping at the bit, so I have to say something first about the batteries. Great suggestions. And for something that you may or may not know, company-wide, we have 1 trash truck fire per week. And the main cause of those fires, 80% of those fires are caused by battery put into the trash or recycling. It's actually a lot of our recycling trucks catch what we call a hot load or catch on fire because folks think, oh, I should put my batteries in here. They're going to be recycled.
In
It doesn't work
plastic.
out, right? So the other thing was, Rosemarie, you had mentioned, so the other big thing though is everything we use now is chargeable, right? So things you don't think about, your chargeable toothbrush, men's chargeable razors. None of those can go in the trash because they will cause the same fire as an alkaline battery. So through our franchise agreement with the sanitary district, we do provide household hazardous waste, but love the suggestions. But it was just some new information that I saw. I think it was Waste Dive. It's a national solid waste magazine that they do. And they were talking about all those little rechargeable things that we all use and people don't think, once they die, they get old, you go buy a new one at Costco or wherever. A lot of those people don't think of those as being electronic waste. They throw those in the trash and those also cause fires. So great conversations. Anyway, so with that, we will segue. Happy to be here to present some information to you. So as you're out in the community, and again, any suggestions that you have for us as we're starting to plan some town halls, and I'll get into the details, but we really appreciate any feedback you have. So as Scott mentioned, we will be delivering recycle carts October 7th. This is about a 12-week process to complete. October 7th is a Monday. And the goal is to have that completed before the end of the year. So as Scott mentioned today, most folks do have 2 mixed waste carts and 1 organics cart. And so what will happen is residents will be delivered a mixed waste cart, and you can kind of see a picture with the truck, or there's the carts here visibly in the lobby. It's a dark gray stone container with a blue lid. And when we deliver the recycle cart, one of those mixed waste carts will be taken away. So each resident will have 3 containers. 1 will be for landfill, 1 will be for recycle, and 1 will be for organics. And then once your cart is delivered, you will begin collection the week after. So as I mentioned, it's a 12-week process, so not everyone's getting delivered at the same time. But once a resident's home gets their blue cart, the following week will be your first collection day. So you start using it immediately. Next slide. So the first part of this process is, and this is part of our new amended agreement with the district, is residents also now have an opportunity to right-size their existing containers. Years ago, I know that there were 90-gallon mixed waste carts available, and then it switched to 65-gallon mixed waste carts. So with this new system that we're rolling out, residents can really choose cart sizes that fit their needs. Some of them could be due to space constraints. So a lot of people that live in townhomes, they might want all 35 gallons, a 35 trash, a 35 recycle, and a 35 organics. So what we're doing is on May 15th, a postcard will be mailed to every resident in Costa Mesa, and it gives you the opportunity to select sizes. If you don't respond to the card, then we'll just, in our computer system, we know what size that you have, and we'll just exchange like for like, or deliver you the 95-gallon recycle cart. But let's just say you just want to change, you realize, hey, you know what, since I'm getting a recycling cart, I really don't need that 90-gallon mixed waste cart for landfill because I'm going to put all my recycling. You might want a smaller one just not to take up the space. So it's really important, though, to mention that because we keep mentioning a 3-cart system, there could be someone that maybe has a bigger family. For whatever reason, they decide that they want that extra landfill cart just in case. This is the time that you would notify us to say, hey, you know what? I want to keep my second mix or landfill cart, but there is a charge of $9 per month if you want to have 2 trash. Craig?
So like the green organic one, can you get it in any one of those sizes?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Any one of those
any one of
sizes for
those-
any
those
color
sizes.
lid. Correct.
We wanted a second organics card.
There's one or second organics cart at no charge.
Really a second one? But does it go 3 still then?
It does, well,
Or
no,
you go 4?
you would go 4.
Really?
And a lot of people that have the second, sometimes they don't use them every week. They use them maybe when they're pruning, cutting down trees. Usually it's some sort of yard cleanup. So most folks don't.
Because I
Typically-
filled up the green one and 2 of the big ones with organics.
So-
When I did the yard.
So you can get an extra one for free, and you could do the 90s if you have the space
Yeah.
for them. Yeah. Okay?
I have a question. I
Yes.
apologize for interrupting you, but it says on the paper that the 95-gallon is considered standard now. So are people automatically gonna get the 95
Only,
landfill one?
only new customers. So if someone signs up
Okay.
for service today that has not been an established customer, or someone moves out and someone new moves in, that would be the standard size.
Okay,
But for
otherwise
anyone
it's-
else, yeah, you're
it's
keeping
like-
what you
It's
have.
pretty much like for like.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you very much.
Right. And everyone is going to get the standard, though, 95-gallon recycle, because we really want people to recycle more, right?
What's the size of our normal ones we
It's the
have?
size of your normal one. But we know for folks that live in townhomes or have space constraints, it's really important to fill out this card. That way we make sure you get the smaller recycling if you don't have the space.
Do
Aren't
you
our
want your
normal ones
questions
60?
now or at the end?
Sorry.
I'm okay with either,
Yeah,
but you
the-
guys tell me the flow.
Do you want to take
Questions
questions
during or at
throughout
the
it or at the end?
I'm for actually whatever makes it easier for the presenter. It's preference usually, some people like the question during the topic so they don't have to turn back, and other people prefer it at the end.
Here's the thing, I do have more information on each slide, so maybe in this case, we
You
might
might,
wait,
yeah,
because I
you
might
might
answer your
answer some of the questions,
okay?
so.
I might answer
So
your
yeah, just make a note and then we'll come back to the question.
Yeah, definitely. So the other thing I wanted to point out is just through, time exchanges, maybe someone had a 90-gallon from way back when, and they decided they wanted a second mixed waste cart. When we do this rollout of the recycling containers, if someone has 3 mixed waste carts, I guess that's what it would be, 2 mixed waste carts out at the curb, we will remove the smaller one. We won't take the bigger one. So let's just say someone had a 90-gallon and a 60-gallon mixed waste cart. When we deliver the recycling, we'll take away the 60-gallon landfill cart. We won't take away the smaller one. If at a later time, someone calls in and says, I want to exchange it for the smaller sizes, I saw my neighbor has a different size, we can do that later. You can switch at any time for the life of our contract with the district. You don't have to do it now. You could wait and do it later and see how it works out. Next slide. Right, so here's some details, and I inserted some photos of what it actually will look like on some of the streets. So what we will do is, as I mentioned, we start on October 7th. On the Friday before your normal service day, when it is your week, you will get an auto dial message, whether you pick it up or it'll go to voicemail, giving you the information that this is your week, you're going to get your new recycling cart. So every resident that we have a good phone number on file for will get that out dial message. And so just to give you an idea, the reason it's so important with the survey card, when we load these semis, these are 53-foot semi trucks, we load these in a very sequential order by quadrants of the city when we're ready to deliver in a neighborhood by house. So as they offload the carts, they are in order exactly of every single address on the street. So it's a very organized process. And again, this survey will be done before October 7th, and that way we will know up front if a customer chooses to change their size carts. We will do that all at the same time. Okay. It's also important to point out, again, kind of good to see this picture. When we come with this 53-foot trailer, it is loaded as far as it can be loaded. So we can only deliver them all first and get everything offloaded. And then we come back around and we'll remove the one additional mixed waste cart. And then that truck goes back to our yard loaded with the mixed waste carts that we're removing. So that's important just to explain that. And we'll cover that a lot at some upcoming town hall meetings and then with the social media, because we don't want people to freak out or think, well, wait, you didn't remove my mixed waste cart like you said you were.
You don't want
It's a
5,000
logistic thing.
You don't want 5,000 phone calls in a
No.
matter of
Or
20 minutes.
21,000. That is true. Yes, you're right. Anyway, so yeah, so deliver first, empty that truck out, driver swings around and comes back and removes the extra containers that either we're picking up, or someone might even say, hey, I have an extra landfill cart already that I don't want. Go ahead and take it because I think I'm going to do good with the recycle. Okay. Next slide, Gina. So as you hear us keep referencing mixed waste, meaning trash and recycling were being mixed together. Now that we go to the 3-cart system, we just have to change the way we think about it. And so those carts are now called landfill carts. So these are the actual labels that go on the lids of the carts, which you can see out here in the front lobby. So the week after we deliver your recycle cart, we will have staff coming through and they're going to relabel your mixed waste cart with this landfill sticker. So it's very clear to the residents and children, who are the ones that sometimes we say, hey, this is part of your chores, or we're trying to educate them. The week after your recycle cart comes to your home, we'll be going through your neighborhood and labeling your mixed waste cart with the landfill sticker. So it's very clear that that cart is only for what goes to the landfill, and then the recycling and the organics go into the other 2 containers. We also want to make a point of, if someone didn't fill out the, as I mentioned, if they didn't fill out the survey card, they weren't home, they didn't realize it, they saw their neighbors, which is usually what happens. They see their neighbors' containers. At any time, a resident can call and say, hey, I want to change the size of my containers, or Craig might say, hey, I want another organics or something. We just do that on your next service day. And you would just call in and we would put an order in the system and that will happen. And then also same thing, and this happens with several of our rollouts that we do. If for some reason your cart was not exchanged, could be maybe the kids brought it back in too soon. We went out and we serviced you, or someone was not home and there were no carts out. So if there are no carts out, we're just not going to be dropping carts because we want to do that exchange. And that happens. Someone's on vacation. Someone just forgot to put their trash out that day. There's no containers out. We will do that and return the following week. And then through this process, I think it's really important to know that the recycling will be picked up on the same day that you have for your trash and organics today. Everything is done on the same day, and there will be no change to your existing service. So if you were, typically the recycling, you're going to have to get used to what time, and I don't have that information yet on an average of what time the recycle truck's going to come through. but nothing will change as far as your day. Everything will happen. Nothing will change to your trash schedule or your organic schedule. You just have one more truck coming by your house every week. Next slide. So I think as mentioned, this is just the huge component. So trying to get the word out, we've already been doing some social media posts. The district's been doing quite a bit. Love the ideas of other signage going out. There's also this information kind of explains a little bit. We'll be sending this postcard that's coming out. We have these town hall schedules are on the calendar. We're doing 2 weeknights and 2 Saturdays in August and October, giving folks the opportunity to come out and ask questions. I'll be doing a similar presentation so they understand what we'll be covering. Collaboratively through both parties, as we mentioned, we'll also have banners coming out on our trucks soon, but everything will be on CMSD's website for additional information, and then also on CRNR's website. And again, this is just a graphic that we've already developed that we'll be posting probably several times on Instagram, Facebook, any social media platform the district has. And then CRNR, we will post it on our social media platforms as well, trying to catch people from all sides. Next slide. So the other thing that we'll be doing is same thing. We have this graphic developed that we've used for all of our other cities. Just constant reminders. And I think this goes back to something great for kids is just the reminders of what goes where. When you look at the landfill card on the very end, there's very little that's left that actually goes to landfill. And it's something that we still deal with on a daily basis with several cities that have had a 3-cart system forever. We still see a lot of recyclables ending up in the trash that should be going into either the organics or the recycle cart. It's just a constant. But if you see the items, you know, talk about broken glass or mirrors, ceramics, diapers, pet waste, it's just any type of the packaging that we get, wax paper, styrofoam. But other than that, everything really goes into the blue container. Almost everything is recyclable. So this will be some other pushes that we'll do to get out information on what goes where. And I didn't have it on the slide, but I think I'll mention it. We do school presentations as well. So we will do school assemblies, and we don't get requests as much as we used to. I've been doing this for 30 years. I used to do school presentations all the time for assemblies, and I don't know if the structure is a little different at the schools than it used to be, but we don't get as many requests. And it could just be that maybe they just don't realize that we do these things. And so, I don't know, Scott, maybe that's something you can ask at your meeting is, hey, you know, whether it's CRNR, the district, or collaboratively together, we can do these presentations at school assemblies because we used to do them all the time and we don't get the same requests like we used to. Yep. I think that might be the last slide. Yes. Okay. Questions for anything I may have missed?
I have a few for you to start. So all the literature that you mail out about this process, does it go to the actual service address or does it go to the billing address? Because we have a lot of renters in single family homes in this city.
I'm going to defer to Scott or Gina on this one. They do the mailings.
For education and outreach, we send to the service address. So that should include all of the renters as well as the property owners.
And that is where we plan on doing the cart survey to the service address.
Perfect. So when a renter can call and tell you what size carts they want as opposed to having the owner call.
Well, that's a good question. So the challenge with that is it depends on the property owner. This happens in every city we serve. We look and see when they call us whose name is on the account. In some cases, if the property owner is paying for the trash bill, which in this case they are because it's
They
on
are, because
property
it comes on
taxes.
property taxes.
I'm not sure. We will do it unless we get word from the property owner that says, hey, they can't make changes. And sometimes we have notes on our accounts that property owners will call us and say, no changes can be made by resident. And most of those that don't want that to happen, they've already contacted us and we have notes on the account.
Well, and those
So
are
I'm gonna say for the most part, yes, they
yeah,
can.
those are the property owners that pay attention and would share the information or make the determination, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But for a lot of them, they're blissfully unaware and kind of disconnected.
I mean, the outreach I've gotten goes to the address on the trust, and so like I get the information from the attorney, and that's weird. Like, but I mean, I understand how it gets that way, but I mean, it comes to me eventually, but if I didn't have that.
Sure. And then this is kind of a silly question. I feel kind of silly even asking it, to tell you the truth. So on the recycle cart, is it gonna say on there somewhere that the recyclables have to be clean? Because a lot of people think that they can just take a can that has sauce in it and it's a recyclable and throw it in the recycle can. And that's one of those things that you think, like, people
they
should
don't-
just know,
They don't have to be,
but they
so,
don't.
yeah, so they don't have to be,
I had
there's
to
a lot of
check.
technology, for the recycling. So when it gets to the end use, they go through this hot steam bath, for better words to describe it. So they don't have to be completely clean. Like, you're never going to clean a peanut butter jar. That's recyclable. So I think it's more, for a cleanliness, rodent deterrent, smell deterrent, that you give it a swig, if you will, give it a rinse, but it doesn't have to be completely clean, but it would help from your recycling smelling.
But if I throw a saucy can in the recycle with clean cardboard, doesn't that cardboard now jacked, or it really doesn't matter?
Not anymore, not anymore.
Oh, that's good to
There's better
know.
technology.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, that's really good to
Yeah.
know. Okay, that was all the questions I had. Who's up? Okay, let's start down here with Paul and head that direction.
The organics, for the food stuff.
Paul, can you speak in the microphone so we can hear you? Yeah, thank you.
The organics for the food stuff. That's kind of new, and you had a pail up there for the food. Does that come from CRNR, or is that for?
The district has those, and you can request those, or we can deliver one to your home at request.
Okay, so we can request
Those
that.
are,
okay.
and those are free.
Awesome. All right, that's good.
I'm more so just genuinely curious. This is probably a dumb question, but like so this is how did we get to this point with the SB 1383? Is that what it was? I'm just genuinely curious from like what's the story of the progression of, just for my own understanding. I honestly, I'm unaware.
Like the Cliff Notes for
Yeah.
me version, and then Scott might have to clean me up a little bit here, but everybody knew that SB 1383 was coming.
Yeah.
So Costa Mesa was one of the first people, and it was what, five years ago? 5 years ago, that said, we're gonna have to start separating organics. So we're gonna start doing it now, even though we don't have to get people used to the idea. So single family homes are regulated by and serviced by Costa Mesa Sanitary District, where commercial and most multifamily areas are serviced by whoever the city of Costa Mesa has as contractors, and there's 7 different contractors.
Mm.
So when we're talking about the district service area, we're talking about who sanitary district services, which is the single family homes. So everybody was used to organics go in the organics cart, and then mixed waste was everything else.
Yeah.
Well, now that the SB 1383 is here, they've been telling people for over a year, pretty much, 2 years, that this is what's happening and this is why we're here.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and you guys, this is a fun fact I'm gonna throw out there that you'll be probably really happy to hear, and I don't know if you know this. I thought it was super interesting. So a new restaurants open here all the time. I walked into the California Fish Grill that just opened in the Vaughn's Shopping Center. And I, got my drink, took my paper off my straw, and I'm looking around and I'm like, there's no trash can. And so I walked over, because I was sitting on the patio, I didn't want it to blow away. I walked over to the manager and I said, why don't you guys have any trash cans? And he said, well, there's this new California regulation. And he said, I don't know the number. And I said, SB 1383. And he goes, yes. He said, it requires us to use 3 separate containers, one for recycles, one for organics, and one for trash. And he said, we don't have the space in here to do that because it was small. It was like it's a little small restaurant. He said, so in order to be compliant, we aren't able to put any sort of trash receptacle out here because people will throw everything in one. He said, so we take all the trash and then we take it in the back and we put it in the one that it went in. And I was like, that's awesome. Somebody's actually doing it. But then I also thought, how weird, like I can't even throw the paper from my straw
So
away.
I'll add to that. So there's actually an
Huh.
additional assembly bill that the state passed.
Oh,
It's
that's-
AB 1827, and that required any fast food restaurant or anyone that serves like a to-go menu that they have to have 3 containers, or they could be faced with fines. And so most restaurants, fast food, whether it's a Del Taco or Panera, the Fish Grill, Chipotle, whoever, they're really good at the back of the house. So they're good as when they're cooking and they have, whatever, their avocado, rinds, whatever. They're really good recycling organics from the kitchen. But exactly what you just said, no one's good at the front of the house. And so kudos to them, but that is a separate law that's on businesses in addition to 1383 that says you have to have these containers in the front of your building. So, yeah.
Is that because the previous system of like just the two mixed waste containers
So
didn't?
I will share that,
occur?
so there are very few cities left in the entire state of California that have the mixed waste. And really what it comes down to is what we've been talking to tonight. It's a better recyclable material when it's source separated and you are keeping, for better parts, the dirty stuff away from the recyclable stuff, whether it's pet waste,
Yeah.
baby diapers, mixed with clean, good recyclables, that becomes.
Well, and
kind
the
of-
landfills are just filling up.
And the
I mean, like from the time that I was a kid till now, like a lot of those places, they weren't even called landfills. They were just called dumps.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can smell them too.
Yeah.
A lot of those are just, they're,
Yeah.
I mean, Brea's done, isn't it? Isn't Brea?
Yeah, Brea's closing, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Brea landfill's closed, so they're trying to
Oh, wow.
efficiently divert everything they can, so we don't.
Our
end up
landfill's
with-
closed in Orange County and they've been talking about this for 30 years. We will have to rail trash out to the desert. That'll be the only place that they can build a landfill would be out in the desert.
Oh, wow.
So, and then guess what happens with our costs?
Oh, wow.
Then you have to rail or truck
Yeah.
trash to the desert.
Oh, yeah.
So the more we keep out of the landfill today,
Yeah.
saves the land, saves our space for,
Interesting.
future rising costs.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Dean, you have anything?
Are plastic bags flexible packaging or plastic bags plastic?
Plastic bags are trash, but you can take them back to Staters, Target, Walmart, wherever you get them. So we encourage you to take them back to the grocery store. But once they go through the beneficial use, if you will, I think they say you could use one of those heavier duty or plastic bags now for, I don't know, they say 20 to 30 uses. Once they've outlived their life, at that point, unfortunately, those go into the trash. But the other packaging is all the stuff you get for Amazon. It's the popcorn if you still get, it's that other fluffy blown up
Pillows, the
paper.
pillows are
It's
plastic.
terrible.
They're full of air.
Exactly, with the hair. That's what you kind of pop the air in
Yeah.
those things. So that's what the flexible packaging is.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's recyclable?
it is not recyclable. That goes to the
Right.
trash. Yeah, exactly. So I always say, check the box when we're all ordering Amazon that says, wait an extra day for less packaging. Because, you get a million packages if you don't. So with all that,
The plastics, whether
internal.
it's recycling or trash, is a
the
little.
cardboard,
It's
you
a little
obviously recycle.
confusing.
It is confusing.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Even though it has, and that's what's hard for the average consumer, they all have the little triangle that says recyclable. Being in this industry for so long, I wish they would have changed it that said made out of recyclable material because it is made out of recyclable material, but it's not recyclable. And we still have this triangle that confuses everybody. They look at it and go, oh, it's got the triangle, it's recyclable.
Rosemary, do you have anything?
I have a question for you. I have a neighbor who's really into all this, and she always asks, how much of the recyclables do actually get recycled?
Everything that's in
All
that
of
blue
them.
cart, as long as it's not trash, gets recycled.
Okay.
Yeah. Scott, and I don't know if it's up to you, we could always have, if it was ever the desire of the committee, your staff has come out, but we could have you come to CRT, to our recycling facility, so you can see the process and really how it works.
It's amazing.
That might be
I've-
something you. wanna
I've
do
been
down the
there
road.
and the
Mhm.
floors.
Yeah.
Okay, many years ago, I worked at Nordstrom. Their floors in their facility where they sort the trash and the recyclables and all that were as clean and shiny as the floors in Nordstrom, and it did not smell in there. I was absolutely astounded because I didn't believe, and most people don't, that mixed waste actually got separated. And then you go and you see it.
I got a question.
It's pretty amazing. It's
Well,
pretty cool.
But I think what he's alluding to may be things that are marked as recyclable,
But aren't,
but they're
yeah.
not.
Kind of the thing
And
we
then
described.
also the recyclables market, so things that have changed in China, what is actually being recycled, what I think is being recycled and what actually is happening. So
Yeah.
there's a lot.
So we don't ship to China anymore. So China, with the China sword in 2017, they restricted all imported recyclables from any country. So they were the biggest market for every country in the world. And so we recycle a lot of our material in the United States. We also send some stuff to Thailand, Vietnam. So nothing goes to China anymore for those reasons. But the market is there. Almost everything is still recyclable, and we still recycle 1 through 7. The hard part is we don't get a lot of those higher numbers. The majority of the stuff we get is 1s and 2s, which are these kinds of items. And I would say mostly everything in your refrigerator, your butter containers, your glass pickle jars, all of that material is all recyclable and gets recycled.
But not the flimsy plastic, like when I go to Trader Joe's, their cucumbers are wrapped in,
Eggshells are not recyclable.
like a saran wrap or something, that flimsy plastic is not
Mhm.
recyclable.
I think a lot of it still goes back to producer packaging, where they need to kind of get on board with not.
Right, and that's
Like,
another,
they shouldn't make styrofoam, in my opinion, styrofoam egg cartons anymore. It should only be those paper looking, corrugated cardboard looking wrappers for eggs.
right,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, so I'm ready. I have a whole list of questions.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, you know what? Let her go because a lot of times she ends up asking something that you're wondering about. That's why I like her to go before me. 'Cause I don't have too many questions.
So I'm just gonna go through them quickly. So I noticed that the carts only have a colored lid, it's not uniform. Are these carts new carts with new lids?
The recycle carts are brand new. And over time, your carts, the green carts that you have today are the newer ones. So you have the green lids. The blue carts will have the blue lids like you see out here. The landfill carts, we're not replacing. They will just have the new label on them that says landfill. But over time, if, a wheel breaks off, the lid breaks, and you call in to say, hey, I need to have my cart exchanged, it will be the new uniform. They will all 3 look the same.
When you say look the same, so like, you said the recycle cart's gonna be,
Brand new out of the factory.
so the body's new
Everything's new.
and the lid is new. Why isn't the whole cart blue?
Inventory purposes. So we
Okay.
did that to stock. So a lot of times we just have lids that break. And so it's more cost efficient to all of our cities and our contracts that we stock the same color body, no matter what city we serve, and then we just replace the different colored lids.
Okay,
Much more cost effective.
all right. And then, and I'm gonna be talking about, well, I might as well ask the label questions because when I look at your labels, they're really small. I actually would prefer seeing like a hot stamp on the carts because it's more durable that I would imagine within a year, those labels are just gonna
You
be,
would be surprised. The labels are weather resistant. I don't know, those labels are also on your current organic carts, and I don't know if you're noticing it, but we also can supply the district to stock. The reason we don't do hot stamps anymore is because of the legislation constantly changing.
Hmm.
And that's why we don't do, we do labels so we can change out a label if something changes.
okay. My next question is that you said you're gonna send residents a card, maybe asking for their preferences on their services. Will this card have prices associated with the carts?
It will have the cost for the extra carts and what they would be. And I didn't mention this, and I'm glad you brought that up, Rosemary. In addition, if you don't attend or you don't send your card back and you come to a town hall, or we'll have some here at the district office, if you're just coming in for any other meeting, at any time you could pick up a card. And the card, not only you could tear it off and send it back via mail, or we'll have a QR code and you can go online and fill out the survey online. But that can be done anytime up until we get ready for delivery.
And I'd like to see that card included in the public meetings so that people can see what's there and what it looks like. The other thing I wanted to ask is about, you mentioned that you were gonna call customers, I think prior to cart delivery. How many phone numbers do you have, or what percentage of our customers' phone numbers do you have?
So I will tell you, we don't have a lot. In the cities that we do the billing, we tend to have more phone numbers, so we get more phone calls. But if you've ever called us for an HHW pickup, a bulky item pickup, a card exchange, any service request of sorts, our reps ask for the phone number. But I will tell you that as most of us aren't using our landlines, if someone hasn't called in, or they call in from the landline and we ask to verify the number and they say, yeah, that's a good number, that would be the number that the dial goes to.
Would you say maybe you have less than 25%?
I can't answer that. I could get that information and share it at another meeting. We'd have to do a data dump.
And,
so I
and my
can-
concern is that, you know, if you've got like, hey, I've got, 8% of the service area's phone numbers, it's not really an effective way to notify customers of what's happening. So to really consider other methods, including not only the district's social media, but also the city of Costa Mesa or the city's social media to advertise this, because I can't remember a time that I've ever been called by my internet provider or my solid waste provider or the electric company. They don't even have my phone numbers.
Sure.
So I just think to be effective and to minimize the number of calls that you're getting, like, hey, somebody stole my extra landfill card. So
Completely agree. So leading up to that is where we're having all these meetings and all this correspondence going out. But I like the idea, Scott, of maybe for every public meeting going forward, that maybe on a table, we have a stack of the cards so people can get it and they start reading and seeing it.
the other question I have is, well, I think you mentioned that the size and the quantity fees that will be paid by customers will be included on the cards. But will you be updating your records to capture services provided to customers during this rollout?
Yes, we are logging every serial number of every card, and that will be uploaded to everyone's individual account.
Okay, because that's really important to me, is to know what kind of services
Yeah.
Are out in the community.
So I will add, if I can just speak on that for a moment. So we did do a card audit citywide in September of last year and updated our systems based on the audit of what everybody had. And then per our agreement with the district, it's every 2 years, Scott. I think every 2 years we do a cart audit to make sure, because that does happen. All of a sudden we get a call from someone saying, hey, my cart was stolen. Can you deliver me a number one? And then when we do these audits, that's when we find someone else happens to have an extra that they're not paying for. So that's usually how we catch that process.
Thank you. I noticed on your presentation that you have a month gap between your community meetings. Why is that? It goes from like August to maybe October?
Maybe I-
And I'm noticing that also, like the August ones are here at the district, and then the October ones are at Norma Herzog. Is that on 19th and,
From Park and 18th.
okay,
I defer to staff on that one, the choice of the town halls.
The reason for the gap is because we have our annual Eco Expo in September. So that was going to be our big September event and another opportunity to talk about the 3-cart system. And so it was really just for staffing to kind of space out the events so we could kind of recover and make sure.
you may want to add the Eco Expo on this list as an official education and outreach event. And then finally, I was looking at your graphic on what goes where. And I don't know if it's a cart sticker or not, but paper towel, can you pull that up, Gina? Here, yep. So I'm looking at organics, and it says that food soil paper goes in the organics cart, but you have paper towels in the landfill cart.
That's an older graphic that didn't get moved. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
Very good catch.
that's the last of my rapid fire.
Thank you.
See, we
Thank you.
have waited for her to anyway.
So paper towels and tissue paper are now organic waste.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You're gonna wax paper towels?
Not waxed. Wax paper still goes in the trash.
So milk cartons go in the trash.
Milk cartons, if it's the wax milk cartons, those still have to go in the trash. Yeah. If I say by the gallon or the other smaller versions of the plastic. Mhm.
Xerxes Calhoun, I happen to live in one of those townhomes
Mhm.
with absolutely no room. You got 2 cars and just storage, and then I've got two trash cans, and another trash can is there. It's kind of tight in there. And so with this mandate being a state mandate, will we be able to make changes to the HOA CCNRs that says no trash cans outside? Outside of the collection. And so my concern is that with an extra trash can trying to fit into a garage because the HOA says, hey, you can't leave it outside in the alleyway or out in the area. My concern is I think I would like to have some kind of an official saying that, look, you have to have 3 trash cans. And with that state mandate, we might be able to make some provisions within the HOA CCNRs that allows us to maybe leave one of the trash cans out, no matter how bad it looks.
I know
Because-
a lot of the HOA and CCNRs that the complexes around here, especially, we have a lot of new ones.
Yeah.
They tie directly into city ordinance.
That's right.
And the city of Costa Mesa has an ordinance that no trash receptacles can be left in plain view.
Right.
So that's, it's something good, I think, to bring up at the liaison meeting, maybe. It could be something that you mentioned, but that's kind of a battle that you have to fight with the actual city because the sanitary district has 0 leverage in terms of anything like that influencing any, I mean, you can make the suggestion or, point out that that is an issue for a lot of people. And I think they know, but they're blissfully unaware over there a lot of the time.
And also with the upcoming, mixed use project along the major commercial ways of building residential and commercial at the same time, we're just going to increase the number of residents coming in and also the number of trash cans. So this is probably something that you might want to start looking into is just people just don't have the room to be putting it inside their garage so that you can keep it out of the, out of visual way.
And who would be a really good entity to start that conversation with, in my opinion, is the planning commission at the city of Costa Mesa.
Okay.
Because they're the ones that approve all, like anything that's built, anything that's zoned, anything doing with anything gets passed at the planning commission and then it goes to the city council and the city council has the final say. But you're exactly right. They're like, this law came into effect and now people need to make changes moving forward to accommodate the repercussions of this law. And the state doesn't think about us when they do those kinds of things. The feds don't either. Well, none of them do, let's face it. When it comes to local, none of them do, but that's a really good point.
So do they still, will you guys still separate landfill waste if? people
No, we
accidentally-
won't with this new program. So the other piece of 1383 legislation requires us as the waste hauler in contract with the district that we do what were called route reviews. So we have to physically lid flip. So we have CR&R staff with their vest on, so you know it's them. And it's required by the state law that we have to look through all 3 containers and just a visual, we're not digging through it, but a visual to see if we see any material in the wrong container, and then you note it. And then cities throughout California are required to have less than 25% contamination. Contamination meaning it's in the wrong cart. And so really then it's all about education. So if we're out there and we're auditing and we notice that, there's a lot of plastic, aluminum in the landfill cart, we leave a friendly tag that says, oops, and there's some education. And then we have to do a follow-up in a letter or an email, if we have the email, giving you like a what goes where flyer as education on how to properly store. There's, as part of this 1383 legislation, it also states that cities also are encouraged to fine residents or businesses for a contamination fee. But really, that is, at the end of the day, it all relates back to diversion. How do you change behavior? And if it's someone that consistently and really the method that we're taking, not only with the district, but all the cities we service, this isn't about gotcha. This is about how do we educate you, make sure you're doing the right thing, make sure you know what's recyclable or not recyclable. So if it's more of 3 times, you would have to violate it 3 times in a consecutive year before you would be considered to get fined. But it's really not any city's desire to be going out there. But we just have to make sure that when the governing agency for the state is called Cal Recycle. So when they come out and visit the cities and the jurisdictions and the districts, that they can say, yes, we have an ordinance, we have a municipal code that says we have a contamination fee adopted. Here's the process we're following, and then we can check the box to say that CMSD has everything ready should they need to do a fine to a resident. But
CMSD would enforce them.
That's what the board is considering. The board has not made any clear direction yet, but it's in discussion. Yes.
for now, we're fully just in education.
Gotcha.
Anybody else over there have a question? Anything to think of?
Quick question. So the card that you're gonna send out where we put are you collecting phone numbers on that?
Yes,
card?
so kind of
Contact
going back to that,
information? Okay.
and then we're hoping to get all updated information, phone numbers and email addresses, because we'll do some email blasts as well. So if you take the survey or you mail the card back, it requires you to fill out a name, phone number, and email address.
And it might be helpful, and I don't know how to wordsmith this, but to let people know that the reason you want their contact information is to help them in case you're noticing contamination, you'd want to help them and let them know before they face a fine. So it's kind of a get out of a jail free. And if I see value to you having my phone number, then I'll give it to you. But if I don't understand it,
Yeah.
Of course, it's not our intent to spam anybody. We don't want to do that. I get frustrated when I get text messages and stuff because I bought too much stuff somewhere. I don't want to be spammed. So we don't want to do that, just for purpose.
Thank you
All right.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Excellent presentation.
Sure, I'll see you all around at a future meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Before we go to closing items, I want to circle back around to
I just,
the minutes.
I just wanted to say something. When the letters were sent out in terms of like on the new members coming in, I sent in a proposal for an education system for the 3-card system going to elementary schools. I'm not sure if the staff received that to get to you, but I sent.
That's a Scott question.
Whoever was reaching out to send a letter to like welcoming the new members, I sent a proposal for your review regarding the education system for the 3-card system and also to segue with the battery recycling program. It kind of outlined an education system for the elementary schools on how to do the 3-card system. And so if you could just maybe on the next meeting, just get a chance to review it. It made some suggestions on how to put together an education program for the elementary school.
Okay, that would, yeah, that would definitely go to him for sure. But thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
I didn't know anything about that. I just want to circle around back really quick to item number 1. We couldn't vote because we didn't have a quorum.
Oh.
It's just on the minutes. To what do you call it? The minutes.
to approve the minutes.
Approve the minutes. Thank you. I'm like, pass the minutes. Approve the minutes. Do you have a motion to approve? Dean, approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Excellent. I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All not in favor? And then we have 4 that cancel. Okay.
Is there another vote you wanted to let him know about?
Oh, I wrote him a note. I said, we elected you vice chair.
You're going out.
I didn't write anything past that. Yeah, I didn't.
Status quo.
I didn't tell him he had options. I just told him he was reelected. Okay, and then let's go ahead and move to committee member comments. I would like to start, I have a question. How come the sanitary district wasn't at Earth Day? Where were you guys?
We're,
I walked around and looked for you guys and couldn't find you. I'm like, why isn't the sanitary district here? And, OCSD is like, I don't know. We haven't seen them.
We didn't have a tent with our name on it because they gave us a tent, and I think that's why you couldn't find us, where like OC Sand and some of the other agencies had their own tent. We didn't have their own tent. That's probably why you couldn't find us, but we were right there across from Mesa Water and OC Sand.
Okay, yeah, sorry, we just probably walked by you 10 times. Okay, I stand corrected.
I know we were there because I was there myself.
What is going on with the recycle center? I know somebody was supposed to be doing something at OCC. What is happening? And number two, isn't the city in total violation right now because they do not provide a location within like a certain number of miles for people to recycle their stuff? Or did that law miraculously change and no one told me?
I don't know the status at Orange Coast Recycling Center. I'll email their staff and try to find an update, and I can let all the CAC members be aware of the update of that. As far as the law, I know the city is working on a program that will allow recyclables to be picked up at their home, I think, and they get like compensation. But there's a program in place that they're working on, and it's funded
It's
through.
that recycle at home.
Yeah, and it's funded by Cal Recycle, but I don't know if they implemented it yet, but I know they're working on something.
Okay.
Drive to Santa Ana, that's,
Yeah, there's Santa Ana, there's Irvine, and there's Huntington Beach, and
Well, if you want to drive up to, yeah, Anaheim and Cal Recycle.
It's-
At Orange Coast
Yeah.
College, what are they?
it's closed.
Going?
No, it's been,
It's been closed for a
it's
while. We're trying to find out when they're trying to open
It's
it
been
up.
closed, and I did talk to somebody who asked the president of the college about like, what the hell, basically. And they said that they're getting a quote from a third-party contract,
That's the last I heard.
but
too.
it's like so much for community. It's like, that's not really,
Yeah.
it's not being some part of the community. It's a separate company running there, but it's better than nothing. So, okay, yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse.
I'll see if I can find out and pass it on to the committee.
And then I would just like to say, you were here late because I told everybody you go to so many meetings. We feel for you. We do have 4 new members, and if you guys are comfortable, during this time period, we go around. If anybody has a comment, that they want to make, they can make it. And I would love for you guys to tell us just a little bit about yourself and what got you interested in being here. And again, to reiterate that we're really excited to have you. Okay, that's it. That's all my comments. Who's next? Anybody? No comment, no comment, no comment?
take the invitation to talk about me.
All I want to say is I'm really happy to see new members here and new blood. Awesome.
Well, I've lived in Costa Mesa for 20 years, and I was a landscape contractor before. I've worked with CR&R before, but in October I had a pretty extensive surgery on my leg, and it's like a long recovery. And I'm like, well, I can do some stuff, and I'd like to participate in my community, and I'm eager to do so. It's going to be like a 27-month recovery before I can even think about working again. So here I am, and I hopefully I can lend some technical assistance, and I just want to learn how to participate in a better way in my community.
Excellent. We're happy to have you. Let's talk trash and we hope you get better soon.
Awesome, love it.
Who are you, Craig?
Who am I? I'm Craig, Craig Holmes. I've lived in Costa Mesa about 25 years. I worked at VA Long Beach 37 years. I was manager of recreation therapy there. So I know all that whole scene. And I'm retired and I'm a cyclist. And I ride, maybe you guys see Orange Coast Bello? You ever see out there by the pier, all the orange and yeah, I'm one of the slower guys in the club. I've been with them 30 years, but I'm still going at it. And that's what I live for, that river trail. I go past the recycling plant every other day, right? I mean, what is the water, wastewater?
Yeah.
Is that that's not part of this district, right?
It's where our wastewater gets transported to and it's
Yeah.
treated. So we have a board member that serves on
Yeah.
that board. We are part of that agency, but it's a separate legal entity.
Anyway, so I just thought I'd get, involved, see what it's all about.
By on June 8th, we have an open house.
At the
Like
Standard
here.
Dairy, I want to see that place. I'd love to see it.
9 to 12.
June 8th?
Excellent. We're happy to have you.
My name is Ben Glassman. Been here for like 10 years. I live over in the Mesa Del Mar neighborhood. Friend told me about this. He actually is on the Arts Commission. He's like, hey, there's an opening. Should check it out, see what happens. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll help out and serve where I can. So that's why I'm here.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Welcome.
And I'm the last guy, Xerxes Calalong. I moved to Costa Mesa in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. I'm a general dentist in Irvine and raised my kids there. I'm empty nester, so my wife and I moved here. I'm over here by Carl's Jr. on Newport and Industrial and those townhomes. And my background obviously is as a dentist, but I'm in organized dentistry with the Dental Society in Orange County, the state, the federal. But I've been really super active in terms of just political advocacy, and so I understand the political I guess challenges that you guys go through, and so I'm just happy to help be able to do anything, and so anything I can do with education. Oh, and by the way, dentists are one of the heaviest let's say producers of not organic, but medical waste. And so, but we are pretty good. We started doing those amalgam separators and everything like that, but anything that we can do to help reduce the medical waste, more than happy to help.
Excellent. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, board staff comments?
Just two comments, Madam Chair. One, if you didn't know, 2024 is the district's 80th anniversary. And we have some T-shirts over here for you. So before you leave, feel free to have our 80th anniversary T-shirts. Secondly, not to steal OC Sands thunder on June 8th, but also on June 8th, we have our composting shredding event. That's
right.
Yes. We'd love to have you there if you want to participate. I know that you can't do that. You have other priorities. It is, what is the time?
8 to 12.
8 to 12. Well, we'll send an email out to everyone if you want to participate. It's going to be over at Orange Coast College. It's a huge event.
Lot K.
A lot of people come in and shred a lot of paper and take a lot of free composting. It's a good event. So look out for that. That's on June 8th. What's that? You don't have to bring anything. No. Okay.
Oh, no, it's free. The other thing I just wanted to mention to our new members before I adjourn the meeting is, I don't know, no one told me this when I started 6 years ago, so that's why I'm gonna tell you. You guys probably already know, but I didn't when I
Here it
started,
comes.
and it would have been helpful for me to know this. So, they email out the agenda. You can click on the agenda, and then there's links to everything on there. You can, if you need something like printed and you can't print it at home, you can email and ask them to print it for you or have a paper copy available for you if you need that for some reason. And I'm sure you all read the handbook of what's expected of you. There are a lot of other meetings at the board. They have their standard meetings and they have their study sessions, and then there's all kinds of ad hoc committee meetings and things that happen throughout. And if you can make the effort to attend at least one in person or virtually, yeah, you don't have to drive down here. You can do it virtually. That would be great. So, and then the other thing I wanted to mention to you is at the liaison meeting, put the city on the spot and ask them if they will run information about the 3-cart system rollout and when your meetings and stuff are on the screen, at all the city council meetings, before the planning commission meetings. They let stuff run on the screens.
Oh, okay.
And also they can do a Costa Mesa Minute
Yes.
about the
yes.
system, and also run the slides on Costa Mesa Television in between the ads for stuff. Normally they charge people, but they need to just be a good friend and jump on board.
Okay.
Because that runs 24 hours a day. And even if you accidentally click on the channel, you might learn something.
Great idea. Yes, great idea.
And then, is that it? We're done?
Yep.
That's it? Okay, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. Our next meeting is going to be July tenth, I think, Wednesday, July tenth. That sound
All
right?
Yeah.
Say something?
Somebody,
I think that's Secretary, Vice President Schaefer. Is that Vice President Schaefer? Vice President Schaefer?
Vice President Schaefer, is that you? Yes, please.
Yeah. I've been listening to everything. First of all, congratulations to the new members and congratulations to the new president and vice president. And I want to tell you, I was very impressed with this meeting. It was the best meeting you've ever had. And it's great to see all the people in attendance, and the questions that were asked really made sense. So anyway, I appreciate you being here, and I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President.
On that note, let's close it out.
All right, we're adjourned.
Shut it down.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
See you guys next time.